Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing this evening or early morning? What's going on, Leo? How you doing? How's your 3 a.m. going right now? I'm gonna jump in. I'll jump in. I'll just get started painting here. Welcome, everybody. Container with my little Empire Halberdiers. We're gonna paint these little guys. And yeah, we got, hold on, before we start, this is our example mini here. Can zoom in a little bit. Sorry that this thing is right here. Scoot that out of the picture a little bit. Oh my goodness, hold on guys. I'm struggling. Welcome in, everybody. Who's that? Little Imperial. Big Papa. How you doing? How's the family, sir? Okay, let's try this again. Get some mahogany on here. We're gonna keep working on these minis, and I want to chat about what's going on in December. I think that's what we're doing. Of the dream? Yeah, nice. All right. Once reading before bed, good stuff. Yes, Painting Fam is doing great. Had a very nice weekend with the holiday and everything, so that was good. Holiday and the Painting Son's 9th birthday. Absolute craziness. So, good stuff. Good stuff all around. Yeah, oh thanks man, thank you. Yeah, he's 9 years old on Tuesday. We did lots of birthdays celebrating, and he actually had a birthday party a couple weeks ago, so, and he's still getting birthday stuff in the mail. So good stuff all around. I was at my local, friendly local game store today, and checking out some things. Actually, looking for Pokemon cards for my son. He was wanting to buy some Pokemon cards. Apparently, Pokemon's like all sold out right now, so that was a bust. But we were browsing, and I saw they had a lot of those holiday sets. The like 40k and Age of Sigmar sets still in stock, and man, it was tempting me. I was awful tempted today to buy just a big box of minis. Burger King used to give out free breakfast and a paper crown for your birthday. It's legit, man. Oh, I hate Burger King. I've never eaten a Burger King and not felt sick afterwards. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've eaten a Burger King, but still, let's pretty awful. Yeah, we're gonna have fun painting these Empire minis this week. And guys, I think stream this month. I'm gonna have a couple days off. There's gonna be a few days of, obviously with like holidays and everything going on, and I have a little bit of holiday travel with the family, but I'm gonna paint some fun stuff this month. How about that? I'm gonna pick some stuff I want to paint, and we're gonna do that. Maybe play a little bit of video games too. I don't know. No Christmas Day stream. No. I mean, I could. What if I made a Christmas video? More Empire minis, yeah. We made a video. Was that 2 years ago? I printed and painted minis for the family as a gift. Then, like, for my family. And, it was a bunch of Jedi. So we're a bunch of Jedi minis. And there was, like, custom Jedi that I found. So, yeah. And I painted them on stream, but the rest of the family didn't know about them. So I showed it to them all on Christmas, and then we made a little video for it. Saying Merry Christmas to everybody. But I'm going to paint some Thousand Suns this month. 2 specific things I want to do for my Thousand Suns. I guess 3. The Saturnine miniatures, the actual Saturnine Terminus, I have like no desire to paint those. I'm sure I'll eventually get around to it, but they don't inspire me at all. So I'm in no rush to paint those. I do have a Centurion I want to paint. It's a double Lightning Claw Centurion that looks like fun to paint. That I'll probably get to the next couple weeks, and I have 15 Breachers. Now I can paint those 15 Breachers, and they're Mark II, so they'll take a little while. But that's a week project, right? On stream. But I want to paint those, and then one other thing I want to paint when those are all done is I want to paint some tanks. The grave, no, I'm not dead. Busy working the army commission. Yeah, no problem. No problem, Zuriko. Welcome in, though. Happy to see you. 15, those are the Bolter shields. That's what the Breachers are. Yeah. Just a good 15 of them. So I gotta tell you guys about some Warhammer Fantasy stuff too. But yeah, so I have 15 of them assembled. I got a couple of them primed and everything, but I'll get the rest of them together. Maybe I'll just paint the rest of those. So looking forward to that. Just getting some random minis off the backlog, right? Off the pile of shame. And okay, Guardian, how you doing this evening? Hope you're having a good evening. Hope you had a great holiday. Put this scabbard there. So yeah, that might do it. I have maybe a couple undead characters to paint. Might be fun. I have a couple I printed that look like classic Warhammer vampires. So, pictures in the Discord. Absolutely. I'll go take a look here in a moment. Sounds great. Let me finish up this big floppy hat dude. When you see it later, I'd like to know. Yeah, absolutely. I'll check it. I'll check it here in just a minute. I'm just finishing up the brown on this guy. Got a couple more I want to go take a look. I want to see what you're painting. You did the Kit Bash. Okay, okay. Yeah, so we got the Sunday preview article. Hey, Mydro, what's going on? I have something shipping to you, Mydro, tomorrow. My plans to get to the post office tomorrow, but I'll let you know. Yeah, yeah, the Sunday preview. So there's Legions Imperialis, so little heresy, and then Necromunda, so some specialist games getting some love, which is really cool. Yeah, thanks, Mydrol, thank you. Alright, let's see, Zreekril. Oh dang, painting some Nurgle, some Death Guard. I see that, man, the Kit Bashes, the Nurgle themed War Dogs. Wow, those look fantastic. Yeah, that is incredible work, Zreek. Incredible work. Terran in the background. Fantastic. The purple with the green. Great. Great combo. J Rose, welcome in. Fellblade. What about the Fellblade? Who's Fellblade? What Fellblade? Are you talking about the Imperialis Fellblade? Yeah, the Imperialis is finally getting their Fellblade and Falchion and all that stuff, which is awesome. I haven't been keeping up with rumor stuff this week. I'm sure tomorrow I'll go have a look. Tomorrow's first day of the Grotmas stuff, if you follow like GW News and everything. So that's gonna be something to keep an eye on. Looks so cute. It does look cute, yeah. It does. My LGS had the Krieg holiday set. They actually had 2 of them in stock. And man, I was so tempted to buy them. So tempted. Discount boxes just pull me in, you know. They actually had, I think they had everything but the Tyranid box in stock, at least out on the shelves. What level would you put that army? What do you mean by level? Painting level? Oh, I don't know. If I say 7, does that mean something? I don't know. Dodged the local shop last week for that reason. Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't need or necessarily want a giant pile of minis to paint, but it's just so tempting when it's just so many good looking minis and they call it a discount, you know? The 30-second story, yeah. Brushes? Open those before you reply. Oh, awesome Band of Goblins, yeah. Yeah, man. I woke up with a bunch of notifications on Discord and I was like, oh no. I went to bed pretty early last night. Yeah, Foxbite brushes are good. They're Good brushes, especially for what you pay for them. And they last a while. You take care of them, and they definitely last a really good while. So, good brushes. John Lockridge, welcome in. Doing progress to the pile of shame. Don't need to add to it now. Yeah. See, and I grabbed these Old World. Well, I printed these Old World minis for myself to paint. Not that I need to. Okay. It's a commission for the shop owner. That's all. No, he's gonna be super happy with it, Sariq. No, that's a great looking army, and I think the shopkeep will be very happy with it. Arcanist Evaluator model is done. What? That's, oh yeah, is that the nerd with the I think I painted that mini. I might still have it here. Be shipping out tomorrow, but yeah. The Votann guy. Got my backlog. Christmas Towel, Blood Bowl, Darkwater. Oh no, everything. Yeah, there's a chance the 40k, those new Tau characters come out before the end of the year also. I'd say it's a pretty good chance. Crazy stuff. Yeah, lots of good stuff coming out though. First time doing a commissioner, being asked to do one. How has the experience been? On like a 1 to 10, how's your enjoyment been painting those minis? Painting commissions isn't the most enjoyable thing, but to be honest, it's better than most jobs, you know. See, the interactive far side. That's true. That's true. New Blood Bowl looks fun. Yeah. And Necromunda getting love. I heard, yeah, and Necromunda gets the pre-order this weekend. They have the big vampire dude coming out, which is pretty crazy. I heard that guy's massive. Like, his mini is just crazy big. I'm gonna do a little bit of 3D printing, and we're a couple tanks ready. Oh, this guy's a big like leather tunic anyway. Gotta paint this whole thing here. Nothing. Been jumping 8 to 12 hours a day. Yeah. That's fair. You liked it. Good. That's good. Really good to hear. So, had my little bit of a saga from my Warhammer the Old World gaming experience. If you guys remember, I probably talked about it like 4 times now. You guys might be sick of it, but essentially, there is an Old World like holiday, like kind of charity event happening this coming weekend. And I was like, man, that sounds like fun. Like, I haven't played Old World much at all. I've played like 2.5 games over the past 1.5 or 2 years or whatever, so it might be fun to jump in and play a little tournament, play some games. So and it was like a donated package toy, and you get entered into the tournament kind of thing. So just excuse to play a couple games and all that. Well, I asked someone for a learning game, and I went and played a learning game with this person, and they brought an extremely unfun army, and I did not play a game. Like, basically, I set up my minis and I marched forward the first turn, and then they played a game while I rolled dice and picked my minis up off the table. And it was honestly some of the least fun I have had playing a tabletop game in a very long time. And so I've kind of had, and at the same time there was another learning game going on. And the other learning game, it was someone doing the same thing. Someone brought like a really disgusting army, and they were playing against a new player, just completely crushing them, like tabling them and everything. And I was like, what is this? What is this group? I don't know. So the thing is, I still want to play. Like, I've been debating, like, this group doesn't seem like fun. You know, maybe just the group is a more competitive, you know, like that's their mind is we play lists that win, and that's, you know, if that's what they do, that's fine. But also, you don't play like that with someone learning a game. Anyway, long story short, whole thing going back and forth. I've been thinking out loud on this for a while at this point. And I've decided I'm going to give the game another shot, and I'm going to play another game this week. So I have a game on Tuesday. And then I might try to go to that tournament. And the thing about this tournament, which some people had asked for some clarity, and I got some clarity on this tournament. So it's a charity tournament, okay? That is, you literally are donating a toy to donate to a good cause, and then you play some games of Warhammer. Well, I found out there's actually prize support. I don't know what the prize support is, but there are 4 categories of prize support, and those categories are best overall, best general, best painted, and best sportsman. So here was my thought. All right, I don't play a lot of competitive tabletop games anymore, but I can be pretty good at tabletop games. The last 2 like actual tournaments I went to, one was for a game, was for Middle Earth. I hadn't played Middle Earth in about a year, and I went to it and won. I still think that was mostly luck, but still, I won 3 games very handedly, and with a list that was kind of a meme. And then another one, I went to a doubles event, and that was a narrative event. We took narrative armies. We did not take good armies, me and my partner, and we won against some people that were playing pretty serious. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go to this and win, and then just make my own Warhammer group, like, aside from these people. So if I go, I have a bit of a soft goal to win all 4 awards. Does that sound completely stupid? Just going there, winning best painted army, best general, and then best overall, because you got all that, and then best sportsman, just be like kill him with kindness thing. And I think that would be really funny to be able to do that. But yeah, I might do that. So yeah, one of the things when I played my learning game with this gentleman that crushed me or whatever, he was playing really disgusting lists. I wasn't. I purposefully wasn't, because I was like, oh, we're playing a learning game. I don't want to bring weird stuff. I just want to kind of learn how to play the game. Well, he didn't think so. He didn't agree with me on that. So I revised my list to what I think might be a really good list. And I'm playing on Tuesday. I'm meeting someone to play a game. So I'm gonna try this list out. Give it a soft launch. See if I like it. See if I need to reevaluate anything. And then I think I take something like it to a tournament. So that's kind of the plan, I guess. That's kindness doesn't have chain swords. That's true. Although nothing in Warhammer Fantasy has chain swords, so. I did go to one tournament one time. Way back when, I don't know, this might have been like 2018, 2019, something like that. And it was a store championship for Star Wars Armada, and I won the store championship and also got best sportsman, and that was like one of my proudest moments. So, where people voted me that I was their most enjoyable game, and I also won all of my games. So equip units with them and insist your opponent that... Yes, that's true. Bretonnians have chain swords on their data sheet. Still... Man says data sheet when talking about the old world models. That's like 3, you know? Like you're holding up the wrong fingers right there. You call it a data sheet. I see through your lies. I was actually going to take this time to paint some minis for my vampire accounts if I needed them for this event coming up on Saturday, but I don't. Everything I fit everything that I needed in my list with what I had, so it worked out just fine. 6 times, we got 7 more. Yeah, 7 more, right? Something like that. You're watching. Oh, nice. Yep. Should have never met in that basement. That's true. Yeah, that basement scene is wild in that movie. This is a guy with a leather tunic on as well. tunic. It's gonna be stupid. You have to go back to work. Yeah, that sounds lame. Yeah. I get it. Tomorrow starts Grotmas. Yeah, I'm looking forward to like what they have going on. It sounds like they're kind of all over the place this year. They tend to be more focused on what they do, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully tomorrow is a new mini announcement too. I've been enjoying the like Monday new mini preview thing that they've been doing the past couple months. Gives you something to look forward to with Monday. It's been nice, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, the detachment reveals are pretty great. You considered buying 40 Zangors and using them as militia? Have I considered it like that it's a possibility? Yes. Have I considered it for myself? No. But no, that is definitely doable though. There are plenty of militia prominences that works with too, so. It's another leather tunic guy. We have a lot more of those. No, this is the last one. Okay. Yeah, 2 years ago was just it was rumor engine stuff, right? That was also our first glimpse of like the Death Korps of Krieg. That was the most obvious one through a couple of those rumor engines were Death Korps of Krieg minis. Documented Tactiles mix power armor pieces. Did Terminator mix armor pieces? I don't know if Terminators did. I don't think they did. Or at least to me it wouldn't make quite as much sense. Because the armor, the different armor marks for Terminator armor filled like very different roles. Like they were very different in how they used a lot more than like the tactical armor. Also, though, if it's something you want to do on your minis, I don't think it's the end of the world. Yeah, I think the pieces were so different, though, that it was. It's not something they really did. Oh man. Okay, you're painted. We're gonna do the banner bearer last. Although he's got no more on him than anybody else, so. I believe the best for your sorcerers, lore-wise, gameplay-wise. I think they both work. Um,
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your
Hey
home.
Shirazi, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Welcome in. How are you doing this evening? I prefer Tartarus pattern Terminator armor for the look and also how it functions in the game. So it's more mobile. You could do a lot more, and it's only slightly less durable. So I like that. I like that a lot better. And I definitely see it as the more advanced armor. So as far as like lore goes, Thousand Suns being such a small legion and having like a whole dedicated Forge world to just them, they definitely got like all of the choice equipment that they wanted. So they had a lot of good Terminator armor, and I always feel like the Tartarus would be the one they would choose. That's 9 of them. We got 4 more. We'll get the halberd halves next. AT Slayer. What tactics do Thousand Suns use? Do they heavily go on their psyker gimmick? Yeah, so Night Trap, the book, my favorite heresy novel is Thousand Suns. And they show there's a couple instances where they show like how Thousand Suns fight as like a legion and like unit tactics. But essentially, Thousand Sun, who's a psyker, which is almost all of them, they typically belong to a specific cult, which is like an organization that kind of sits outside the normal hierarchy of the Legion. So there's the Pyre cult, and there's the Corvidae cult, and there's, all these different cults. And these cults specialize in different types of, or I guess, disciplines, like psychic disciplines. And so if you're a member of the Corvidae cult, your cult is all about like divination, so like trying to see the future. Or you could be part of the Athenaean cult, which is all about reading minds and telepathy. And so there's 5 main cults, but there are others. There's at least like 8 or 9 cults that they mention, but there's like, they said like dozens of like minor cults and everything. But when the 1,000 Suns, how they describe it in the books, what happens when they go to war, soldiers in the squads and everything are mixed cults. So you don't end up with like a whole squad of people from Corvidae that are in the Corvidae cult. It's like all mixed together on purpose. And there's a good example of it when they're assaulting this city, and they're flying in on Stormbirds, which are like giant transport craft that carry like 50 or more dudes, or 100. I think it was like a whole company on there. So it was like 100 Marines in this jet, but there's dozens of jets or whatever that are flying in, like big transports. So they're flying in. There's all kinds of anti-aircraft fire coming after them. Well, what you have is a bunch of different psychers from different cults, and they're all communicating with each other. So you have the Corvidae member, like the ranking Corvidae member on the ship. He is trying to read the future, like the immediate future, to see if there's like missiles that are going to hit, or like fire that's going to hit the aircraft. And all the while, the telepathy psyker is reading his mind and trying to see what he sees, like reading his thoughts. And if he discovers there's something that's going to hit the aircraft, he immediately communicates that with the pilot of the aircraft. So the pilot can move before the things hit the aircraft. So they're working in that way. And then their telekinetic psychers also on the ship, and the telekinetic psychers are putting force fields around the ship the whole time they're being transported. So if for some reason the divination, the Corvidae psyker doesn't predict something correctly, it has a big chance of hitting the force field and not hitting the actual ship. Yeah, so there's they set up to where they communicate like that. And then every squad has healers. They all have, that's the Pavoni cult, which are biomancers, and they can shape flesh and everything, and so that's their like specialization. So if someone gets wounded or whatever, then they can actually function as a medic, or better than a medic, really. They can knit wounds and everything for people who are wounded. You have pyromancers that just go crazy throwing fireballs at everybody, but they also do a lot of stuff too. Like they control the Castellax. They're psychically controlled robots that they use, and they're normally controlled by pyromancers, basically. So yeah, they do a lot of like possession of things is like their thing. And just because a psyker is a member of a cult doesn't mean they're locked in to just using powers from that cult. Like Ahriman is, there's a book where Ahriman starts using like biomancy powers. He's not like the most skilled biomancer, but he can use it even though he's like a diviner. Like his whole thing is telling the future. So yeah. How do they lose fights, or they get cocky sometimes? So the whole thing with Prospero, when the Space Wolves invaded Prospero and all that stuff and burned it to the ground, that was very much Magnus was hiding everything from them, so he like psychically cut the planet off and like physically cut communications from the planet, so no one knew what was going on. And people thought it was like a warp storm and everything. So when the Space Wolves invaded, like they showed up, they immediately start bombarding the planet, and then they hit the surface. So like the Thousand Suns didn't have time to prepare anything. And on top of that, when they showed up, they had a lot of Sisters of Silence with them, which are Nulls, which like ruin Psykers when they're anywhere near them. So that was a whole other thing that messed with them. So they had a lot working against them. Small numbers make them easier to kill. Yeah. Yeah, and there's instances where they go too far with their powers, and they like perils or whatever, and turn into chaos spawn and stuff like that. So otherwise, they have like a really good track record as far as victories go. Also, the lore demands that they lose, so you can't change the lore fact that they're traitors, right? And so they have to lose. After the heresy, they split up like other legions. Yeah, so they stay together, but then Armon does the Rubricae. And then after he does the whole rubric power where it turned them all to dust and everything, then the Legion kind of split up. They're all just kind of like, yeah, I'm done with this. This was not okay. That's basically how that ended up. Where now they're just mustache twirling villains in 40k. Yeah, there's another cool scene in Thousand Suns before Prospero and everything, before the Space Wolves actually invade, but the Thousand Suns and Space Wolves kind of fight each other once. But essentially, Space Wolves are mad that Thousand Suns were at a library, and so they came and tried to fight the Thousand Suns. It was like a whole great company, so I don't know, 100 or 1,000 dudes or something, whatever Space Wolf numbers are. They started crossing a bridge, and there was one like Thousand Suns sergeant, and he used his powers. He didn't want to kill the Space Wolves, he was just trying to stop them. But he literally started heating up their blood and boiling it to the point to where they were paralyzed, and they were like all dying. So it was just 1,000 Suns dude could have just straight up killed like 1,000 Space Wolves if he chose to. But he didn't want to kill him, so he held his power for so long that he ended up like with the flesh change and like turned into a chaos spawn and stuff, because he held himself back from like killing all of them. Like, that's some crazy power when one dude can just pick a whole group and do that to him. Yeah, and you read that and you're like, yeah, how do they lose? How do they ever lose when you can do something like that? You know? Okay, banner guy. Yep. That is all the brown. Renegade Thousand Suns? You command small legions or rubric. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, T-Slayer. It's poor writing. Yeah. Let's do... Let's do some dark ivory here. I don't think the Thousand Suns and 40k are like bound to to Tzeentch in that manner, like bound to them, but I think a lot of them understand a lot of their power comes from Tzeentch, so they kind of stick with it, right, and worship Tzeentch in that way. The effort until too late. That's fair. Yeah, it's like The Flash. Ever watched Oblivion with Tom Cruise? Book in our history. To that man took 300 warriors and saved mounts on a bridge. Wait, what? I remember Oblivion with Tom Cruise. And you're talking about Thermopylae with the Spartans, with the 300 Spartans that defended against the Persians. Classic story. They doing anything with the Iron Warriors? Are Thousand Suns doing anything with the Iron Warriors? Thousand Suns and Iron Warriors are like really close. Before the heresy, they were like super close. Magnus and Perturabo were really close. Good buds, you know. Oh, Games Workshop. I don't know. I heard rumors that the Iron Warriors are getting like a codex supplement thing in 40k. But who knows? Iron Warriors might be in the... there's a book that came out, Istvan, Dropsite Massacre novel that came out. 40k, the Iron Warriors have more emotion than the average Thousand Suns. Well, I mean, that's because they're like basically automatons now, right? The story first I heard it's in that movie or objective movie or another. Oh, okay, I don't know. Yeah, huh? Not sure, Troy. Yeah, 300 was great. Yeah. Nice pistol. Everything is metal, isn't it? This 40k or sci-fi, 40k sci-fi fantasy. I mean, yeah. It's definitely like fantasy in a lot, right? But there's a lot of sci-fi to it, because isn't sci-fi like taking like kind of our reality and bending it. And you know, technically you have Terra, you know, you have Earth, and it's in the future, just super far into the future. Yeah. Iron Wars and Red Corsairs are interesting. Yeah, yeah. Red Corsairs are funny. I remember when they first became a thing, people were furious. Was that what, 4th edition? Chaos Space Marines. They took that army book, their codex, and like, yeah, we're not gonna focus on the legions. We're gonna focus on renegade Space Marines. And people were like, what? Future BS anything to exist. Yeah. I mean, a lot of sci-fi does that anyway, right? Hey, EO, what's going on, man? Oh, sweet. Okay, you got my message. Make sure you got that. Good deal. How you doing? How was your weekend? We are just chilling and painting some fantasy minis. Nice. Ready to get back to work for the week. Yeah, I hear you. They just need their own rules at some point. Yeah, I think they will. I think on December 25th, you're gonna get a real taste of Chaos Space Marines getting their own updated rules and stuff. Some Legion specific things. That's what I think. No insider knowledge here, I'm just making the comment. Renegade should include more units from dedicated legions. Yeah, I agree. Anything? Saturn 2 got custom Chaos Armor. I see a ton more Night Lords. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Night Lords have always been... Well, they've been really popular ever since Aaron Dembski Bowden wrote that trilogy. Yeah, they're really popular. What's up, Raja? How you doing? And Misfit on YouTube. What's going on, Misfit? Continuing on, these Empire Halberdiers. This person, I have no idea. We'll do the drumsticks. Plastic Armageddon. I'm sure eventually it'll happen. Yeah, Plastic Armageddon Steel Legion. It'll happen eventually. Probably a bit longer than you would want because they took Krieg over them and they're pretty similar in style. Grand scheme of things, but... Chaz blocked work. Oh, too bad. You're at work right now? We're crazy hours. Those are cool. It feels like a bit like ultramarine scenery. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you see so many of them. That is the thing with Chaos, though. Like, you know, it's kind of the same with all Space Marines, right? You can always make your own, right? You can do your own thing with them, but at the end of the day, there's only so many of the specific legions and lore. You know, unless you want to do like a Renegade chapter or something, like you end up kind of falling into specific color schemes. Playing Gas Station Simulator? Dang. That sounds wild. Was playing some Rome 2 Total War this weekend. That's been a lot of fun. Each Renegade chapter, I feel like I really lost where to start. Yeah. Chaos Fox, welcome in. How are you doing, Chaos Fox? You want to do like basic Chaos Marine rules, Night Trap, or are you looking at doing like Thousand Suns and Rubrics? Like either of those work, right? In some way. Pretty good. Not doing any painting tonight. Just finished running one of my D&D groups. Oh, cool. Very cool. I hear that. I have not done nearly as much painting as I would have wanted or hoped to this past week, but you know, when you're busy, you're busy. gonna paint some fun things these next couple weeks. Get some personal projects done on stream. And if I happen to be really unmotivated to paint, maybe I'll play a video game or two, figure out something. I don't know. Pushing to play some game other than 40k, maybe 30k with Kill Team. Yeah. That's fair, yeah. I am, when I'm collecting armies and miniatures and stuff, I'm always really motivated by actual gameplay. So, for me, it's like the game is the thing that motivates me. But if it doesn't, if you want a different kind of reason for doing what you're doing, then is what it is. 40k pugs from Signum Games. Oh, cool. You know, I think I know what you're talking about, Chaos Fox. I think I know. You got a commissar and a work pug. An alternative 40k game. Oh, cool. Alright, alright. Always for games, you have the Tzeentch Renegade Warband, Urge Capture, Tzeentch 4000 Suns. Full on chaos. Oh, okay, okay. Interesting. Just do all the crazy things. Yeah. It's fair. A lot of work to make a game. Did I tell you guys I bought a board game for my son? I bought Rome Total War, the board game. And it was actually on clearance at my local game store. I was like, man, my son has been like all about Roman history lately, and I love Total War. So maybe this would be a game for us. So I picked it up and gave it to him on his birthday. He's super excited. It's a very long game. It's a very complicated game, but I was reading through the rules last night, and I think I have a pretty decent grasp on the rules at this point. But it looks like so much fun. Tons of color, tons of weird paint, lots of arms and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Tzeentch was always the god of chaos that would like give the craziest mutations, right? So you got to do that. You guys remember the old chaos mutation sprue that GW used to sell? Ever player Catan and Formula D. Interesting. Yeah. We like a good weird board game here and there, but yeah, we play a lot of complicated games, so we've played our fair share of complicated games. And this one looks like fun, and the Painting Sun is really excited to play. We just need some of the right people to play with us. You like fast setup. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And this game's definitely like a Ameritrash game with like tons of pieces and tokens and coins and things that go on the board and all this stuff, so but you know, it's cool. You get to conquer your neighbors, and the battles are like super complex, and the way you fight the battles is very much like an ancient battle. So the battles have like a skirmish phase, and then you have to fight in difficult terrain, and then there's like the flanks. And if you win the flanks, you get the chance to envelop the enemy, which is really cool. So your flankers actually come in and hit the sides of the enemy units and stuff. A lot of cool stuff like that. And that's just like the combat. It's like one part of the game. Yeah, I was reading about that board game though, that Rome Total War board game, and it was funded on GameFound, and then the person running the company for the board game got ill or something and like stopped running the company, so someone else took over. And apparently there's like possible legal issues with Creative Assembly and Sega and all these things. So like the game released, but there's a wave 2 that still hasn't released, and it might not ever release. And I think some people are just assuming it won't ever release. It's like added additional factions, and there's like expansions to the games and everything. But because there's 4 factions of the games currently, and there's a like a faction pack that adds 8 additional factions. You can play with up to 12 people, which just sounds absurd. Sounds like that game would take forever in like the best way. But yeah. So it's having its issues, but the with all that stuff like stuck how it is, it seems like the community figured out the rules for all that extra stuff and is like figuring out what's going on and keeping the game alive, which is really weird for like a board game. big downside to Warhammer Fantasy. I think this is one of the things that killed this game initially anyway, was you have to paint so many miniatures to play this game. I don't know, maybe that's where a faction like Wood Elves would be really good. They're definitely an army that is more elite, low number, mostly. Alright, guys. I think we're going to take this quiet evening and we're going to end it a little early. We got our, finished our leather and, or the base coat of the leather, and got the bone on the weapons here. And if you want an example, this is kind of what the minis will end up looking like. This is the idea. So we'll get them there. It's working there. It's just a lot of minis. Painting 24 minis at a time is a lot. So that's the plan, though. But I'm gonna call it there tonight. So I will be back on streaming Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And you guys are welcome to tune in, hang out. Should be having fun. We paint more minis. I might be working on these, might be working on something else, but we'll be painting something fun. But you'll have a wonderful evening and have a wonderful Monday tomorrow. And I will see you all Tuesday. Bye, everybody.